Prepped with the knowledge of Shinso's quirk, Izuku walked into the ring and their battle soon started. Hitoshi started insulting Ojiro, calling him a monkey and an idiot for giving up the chance to continue in the festival. With a stern look on his face, Midoriya focused One for All into his legs and leapt toward his opponent. As soon as he was off the ground, he switched to using One for All in his arm and tackled Hitoshi to the ground, pinning the boy under him and immobilizing the boy. Izuku won his first match. As Shinso started walking off stage, he was stopped by Midoriya talking. "Shinso! Your plan was amazing, taking into consideration everyone's lack of experience, baiting the opponent into responding to you so you can brainwash them. It would have worked on anyone else in my class, even some pros. Why do you want to be a hero?" Hitoshi turns to look at him and speak before walking away. "We don't get to choose the things we naturally admire." Shinso walked out of the arena, and as he did, his classmates sang his praises for making it as far as he did, and the spectators discussed the match, unable to say anything but respect for the two contestants. After the two went their separate ways, Izuku had a short talk with All Might about Shinso before heading to the audience area to watch the next fight with his friends. Todoroki easily beat Sero by overdoing it and freezing him in place as well as a good chunk of the audience. In the next rounds, Denki was beaten by Class 1BZ Bara, and Ida was made a fool of by Mei before she forfeited. As the two matches went on, Uraraka and Midoriya chatted as he took notes. After the two fights, Ochako left the stands, walking stiffly with her head down and a nervous smile on her face, saying she was going to go prepare for her match against Bakugo. Izuku continued taking notes as two more matches went by, with Mina beating Aoyama and Tokoyami beating Aoyorozu. During the third fight between Tetsutetsu and Kirishima, he decided to check up on Uraraka. When Midoriya got to Uraraka's prep room, Ida had already been there talking with her. The three discussed her upcoming match with Izuku, offering to give her a plan, only for her to reject the idea of helping her further and explain that she wanted to meet him in the finals without relying on him anymore. After Kirishima's match ended in a tie, it was time for Ochako versus Katsuki. During the match, Uraraka constantly kept low and rushed Bakugo, and he constantly blew her back with explosions. The crowd silently watched what seemed like a one-sided match before being prompted to boo at Katsuki by a random hero. Aizawa condemned them for thinking so lowly of the boy as Uraraka's plan was set in motion. She released her quirk and started charging at Katsuki. Debris from his blast started raining down from above, but was blasted into nothing with one huge explosion, and the match ended with Uraraka collapsing and unable to continue. As soon as the match was over, Midoriya left the stands and proceeded to the prep room. On his way there, he was confronted by Bakugo, who asked if he'd been the one to come up with her strategy. Izuku gave him a confident smile and told him, "You already know the answer to that, Kacchan. If I gave her a plan, she would have done more than just give you a hard time. That plan was all hers. You shouldn't underestimate the other students." When he got to the room, he found Ochako sitting at the table with a shaky smile on her face. After asking if she was all right, Midoriya told her, "You really gave Kacchan a hard time out there. When we used to spar in middle school, he never got that serious. It's hard to tell, but that fight was a lot harder than he anticipated, and it got to him." Her smile strengthened as she thanked him. An announcement came on that Kirishima would be heading on to the second round of matches, and that the first match of rounds 2 would be starting soon. Ochako apologized for Izuku for taking up all his prep time before he turns to leave. Before he left, he reassured her that she did great. After he left, she called her parents and cried into the phone. Izuku left the room, wishing he could have done more to reassure and comfort her. As he was walking through the hallways out to the arena, he was intercepted by Endeavor. He tried to hide the hesitance in his voice for the number 2 hero, but failed miserably. "Endeavor, what are you doing back here?" The pro hero raised an eyebrow at the child's tone and responded, "Your quirk resembles All Might's. My boy, Shoto has an obligation to surpass All Might, so don't hold back on him. His match against you will prove a valuable test." Brow contracting in anger and fear shaking his body, Izuku looked at the man in the eyes while addressing him. "Endeavor, keep your grudge against All Might out of this match. I'm not him, and Todoroki isn't you. Worry about being a halfway decent hero before you start forcing your twisted dreams and perspective onto others." By the time he was done speaking, Midoriya had already broken eye contact and walked past the hulking man. He sighed in relief as the fear subsided and he entered the arena. Midoriya met Todoroki in the ring, and soon after their match began. The match began with Shoto sending spikes of ice straight towards Izuku from the ground. Midoriya rushed towards the oncoming attack and smashed the ice with One For All focused on his arms. As the spikes kept coming, he kept smashing them. Deciding to change his tactic, Shoto tried to freeze him in place. Catching on to the change, Izuku backed off and kept low as he ran around the arena. After a while, he leapt toward Todoroki and charged One For All into one of his arms, baiting out a defensive wall of ice from his opponent. Landing before he went face first into the wall, he charged his legs with his quirk and ran around the wall. As soon as Shoto was in view, he threw a handful of shards of ice at him. He continued to deceivingly go in aggressively against Todoroki, only to back off and dodge his ice. Midoriya noticed Todoroki was reaching his limit. He was starting to shiver uncontrollably. Izuku smiled at his opponent while talking to him. Todoroki, quirks are still just physical abilities. You look like you're reaching your limit. You're shivering. You could always use your left side to thaw yourself, though, couldn't you? Everyone's giving it their all to make it to the top, and you're going to win with half your power? Don't let that bastard hold you back. Midoriya rushed forward and sent Todoroki back with a punch before the boy could react, continuing his speech. You're slowing down, and your ice is weaker. Why don't you stop freezing yourself? He rushed his opponent again while reeling back for a punch, but instead kneeing him in the gut. Your experience, your determination, I can't imagine what all that's like. But I don't think you're serious about denying him everything if you're just going to make it to the top doing things halfway. He kicked Shoto in the side, taking him off the ground and sending him near the edge of the arena. His arms and legs were aching. He was going further than 10%, albeit not by much, and his body was starting to feel it. Your power is your own, so use it, damn it! A brilliant blaze of flame sprouted from Shoto's left side as he now stood with a grin on his face, accompanied by an expression of gratitude and confusion. He finally responded to Midoriya. I thought you were trying to win? Damn it. So why are you inspiring me? Which one of us isn't taking this seriously now? But I want to be a hero too. Izuku met his smile with one of his own, filled with determination while taking a fighting stance, and told him, it wouldn't be winning if you were holding back. Now let's get serious. Endeavor erupted into a speech about Shoto fulfilling his selfish ambition that, while loud and clear to spectators, went unnoticed by the two participants. Izuku rushed towards Todoroki with One For All, charging at a painful 15% in his leg, and for the first time in a long time, 100% in his arm. With its flames still blazing, Todoroki sent his ice forward, eclipsing Midoriya. To the people in the stands, it was as if watching something akin to David and Goliath. With both boys going all out, any wrong move could end the battle.